Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth, Ba'asham Yahusha Mashiach. Rabbi YAHUAH, you are so great. You are wonderful. This is the day that you have made, that we will be glad and will rejoice in this day, this special day that you've created for us all. Abba, we give you all the Todah. We magnify your name, we exalt your name, Abba YAHUAH. We worship you, Abba. For all that you have done for us, we worship you. Todah Rabbi YAHUAH. I want to specially welcome you to today's live Shabbat live stream. You are highly welcome to this special Shabbat live stream. This Shabbat day is the day that Abba YAHUAH has made for us. We all the Qadash ones. And we are welcoming anybody that just came in as new. This is your first time coming to the Shabbat. You are highly welcome. And I welcome every of our Qadash Assembly members to this live Shabbat live stream. Abba YAHUAH barak you all abundantly. As you are in this live stream, all your heart desire will be met. YAHUAH will barak you and shine his light of favor on your life. Whatever you desire, you will have it throughout this live Shabbat live stream. Just be focused and receive the daba of YAHUAH that each of the ministers we're going to minister to you. YAHUAH will barak you at the end of this live Shabbat live stream, and you will have the cause to give all the yada to YAHUAH constantly. Ba'asham Yahushua Mashiach. And to the Rabbi YAHUAH Sabaoth. That's it. All right. Brother Desta, please come up.
Before I share my screen, I'm going to give you a little insight on what my topic today is. It will be all things belong to Yahuwah. And there's many Nabims or servants of Yahuwah wrote in the Debar how all things belong to Yahuwah. And before I start sharing my screen, I'm going to pray for everyone watching this. Oh, Abba Yahuwah, we love you so much. We give you so much Torah. Would you please give the listeners insight, clarity, open their eyes, clean the wax out of the ears so they can receive the messages that me and myself, my brothers, we preach and speak to them so they know. And now the Shabbat live stream will start. And I give you so much Torah for everything. I give you so much Torah. So please, just allow the listeners to receive these messages that we're speaking to them. Torah, Rabba, Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Bahasham, Yahusha HaMashiach. Turn on the notifications to get notified about this live stream. Subscribe, like, comment, or share if you love this. And once again, the topic of the message is all things belong to Yahuwah. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All things belong to Yahuwah. And the scripture link is the bottom of the screen, YahuahDebar.top. That once again is YahuahDebar.top. It's absolutely free. It's an online link. Soon it will be on both Play stores. It will be on the Google Play Store. And then it will be on the most beautiful hard copy that you've ever seen, you've ever held in your hands. Torah, Rabbah, Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Bahasham, Yahushua, Mashiach. Bereshit, Genesis 1:1-3. In the beginning, Eluah, Almighty One, created the Shamayim, the heavens, and the Eretz, the earth, and the Eretz, the earth, was without a form, and it was void, a completely empty space, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Eluah moved upon the face of the waters. And Eluah Debar, let there be light. And there was light. You see, even at the beginning, Yahuwah spoke the very creation into existence. When Eluah Debar, he created everything. When he spoke it, it happens. We are from his creation. We were created. He is the creator of life. He created all things. In Bereshit Genesis, it describes this. In the beginning, Eluah, Almighty One, created the Shamayim and the Eretz. And the Eretz was without a form, and it was void, a completely empty space. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Eluah moved upon the face of the waters. You see, this is how Yahuwah has programmed it. He designed it. Yahuwah is the creator, and we are his creation. All things belong to Yahuwah. Tehillim, Psalms 24, 1 through 3. King Daud, or as the evil system translates to King David, wrote this: For Yahuwah owns the Eretz and everything in it. The world and those who dwell in it belong to Yahuwah. For Yahuwah has founded the Eretz upon the seas and established it upon the waters. You see, even the wrote that Yahuwah created everything and owns everything. Everything already belongs to Yahuwah. Yahuwah is not a man, for Yahuwah owns the Eretz and everything in it. He created these Eretz. He spoke it into existence. And even the wrote about it. Who may ascend into the hill of Yahuwah? Or who may stand in his Qadash place or his set apart place? Who may ascend into the hill of Yahuwah? Or who may stand in his Qadash place, O Yahuwah? Tehillim, Psalms 50:12. This is Yahuwah saying this. King Daud wrote this, and this is Yahuwah saying, if I were hungry, I would not tell you, for all the world is mine and everything in it. You see, Yahuwah is not a man. Why would Yahuwah say, why would he get hungry? Why would he need food? Everything already belongs to him. If I were hungry, I would not tell you, for all the world is mine and everything in it. All the world is mine and everything in it. Yahuwah, everything belongs to Yahuwah. Why would Yahuwah have to tell you if he was hungry? Yahuwah doesn't tell anyone if he's hungry. Yahuwah is not a man, and Yahuwah can't lie. Yahuwah created and spoke this very Eretz into existence. So Yahuwah is not a man, so he's not going to be like, oh, I'm hungry, I need some food. No, that's not who Yahuwah is. Everything, all things belong to Yahuwah. Ayub, Job 41:11. This is Yahuwah speaking to Ayub. He's speaking to him directly. And this is what he says: Who has given me anything that I need to pay back? Everything under Shamayim is mine. You see, Ayub was challenged, or Yahuwah was challenging Ayub when he spoke this. He was challenging him because they were going into details with each other about, and then Yahuwah challenged Ayub. And Yahuwah says, who has given me anything that I need to pay back? Everything under Shamayim, or the heavens, is mine. Why would Yahuwah have to pay it back? Everything already belong. All things already belong to Yahuwah. Why would he have to pay anything back? Everything you see today belongs to Yahuwah. Yahuwah is the creator of life. He created everything. He spoke it into existence. It already belongs to him. He doesn't need to pay anyone back. Anything that you receive is from Yahuwah. Everything already belongs. All things already belong to Yahuwah. Yehukanan, John 17, 9 through 10. This is Yahusha. Yahusha states, my prayer is not for the world, but for those you have given me, because they belong to you. All who are mine belong to you, and you have given them to me, so they bring me Bad. The evil system translates glory. Yahusha says, my prayer is not for the world, but for those you, Abba Yahuwah, have given me. See, even Yahusha stating that everything belongs to Abba Yahuwah, because they belong to you. All who are mine belong to you, and you have given them to me, so they bring me kabad. Now, Abba Yahuwah, I want to pray for everyone watching this live stream right now, because my prayer is not for the world, but for those you have given me, because they belong to you, Abba Yahuwah. All who are mine belong to you, and you have given them to me, so they bring me kabad. Abba Yahuwah, we love you so much. Open the listeners' eyes, because my prayer is not for the world, But for every single soul that's watching this live stream right now, Yahuwah loves you so much. Yahusha loves you so much. My prayer is not for the world. My prayer is not for the world, but those who are seeking. Right now, you're watching this live stream, you are seeking. You are seeking. And this states, Yahusha says, all things already belong. All things belong to Yahuwah. He said, because they belong to you, Abba Yahuwah. All who are mine belong to you. All things already belong to Yahuwah. There's not one thing in this Eretz that doesn't belong to Yahuwah. Even Yahusha said it. It's the truth. And Yahusha is his one dear only son. Repent to Yahusha. Life is too short. Tomorrow will be your last breath. You never know when your last second is going to be. So repent to Yahusha now. All things belong to Yahuwah. Yahusha is the way yesterday. Yahusha is the way today. Yahusha is the way tomorrow. Yahusha is the way forever. There is no other way. He with ears to hear, let him hear. Yahuwah, you said it. I believe it. That settles it. Yahusha always and forever. And the scripture link, once again, is at the bottom of the screen. Yahuwah Debar, that top. And now you can get the truth that we are speaking to you. You can receive the truth. You can open up your browser, open up your phone. It might just be a link right now. Soon it will be spread to the four corners in the most beautiful hard copy you've ever seen. So it's Yahuwah Debar, that top at the bottom of the screen. Yahuwah loves you so much. And I give so much Tudah for Yahuwah opening your eyes and bringing you to this live stream. And I say, Tudah, Rabah, Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Bahasham, Yahushua Mashiach.
Yeah, Toda Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. All belongs to Yahuwah. You that is watching, you that is listening right now, you belong to Yahuwah. Yahuwah is your breath, the breath of life that you are breathing right now belongs to Abba Yahuwah. And that is why when anybody has lost the breath of life, when the breath of life is out of any man or woman, that person is now useless. There's no use again for the body. The body will start decomposing because what belongs to Yahuwah has gone to meet him. And the life is off, you see. So that is why you must put Yahuwah first. The scripture says, seek Yahuwah, seek the kingdom of Yahuwah and his righteousness. And every other thing will be added unto you because all belongs to Yahuwah. So when you seek Yahuwah and you seek Yahuwah's kingdom and his righteousness, every other thing that you are pursuing will be added unto you without struggles, you see. So you must take this seriously. Take Yahuwah's activities, take your obedience to Yahuwah seriously in your life. Because when you are disobedience to Yahuwah, the presence of Yahuwah, which is the Ruach Qadash, will leave and you will be on your own. And when you are on your own, anything can happen to you at any time. That's you are open for Ashatan to come and take and play with, you see. So everything in this Arad belongs to Yahuwah because Yahuwah created them, created all. Everything, even as far to the Ashatan, the devil, belongs to Yahuwah because Yahuwah created Ashatan, created everything. And that's the truth. All belongs to Yahuwah. Toda Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. And Ba Hashem Yahushua Mashiach.
Toda Rabbi Yahuwah. Yeah, everything belongs to Yahuwah. Even the homes we live in. You know, this home that I'm in, it's not my home. This is Yahuwah's home. I'm just allowed to stay here. It is a home that he has given to me. And I thank him for that. And speaking of everything that belongs to Yahuwah, today we're going to talk a little bit about the creation of the earth, which of course belongs to Yahuwah, as he created it. Let's get into it. creation of the earth. And here's the scriptures we're going to use. We'll start off at the very beginning. Or Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, YAHUAH created the Shamayim and the Arath. See, he created it. And the earth, or the Arath, was without a form, and it was void. And darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Ruach of YAHUAH moved upon the face of the waters. And YAHUAH debar, let there be light. And there was light. So he said it, and it came to be. And YAHUAH saw the light, that it was good. And YAHUAH divided the light from the darkness. So right now he's separating the light and the darkness. And YAHUAH called the light Yom, or day. And the darkness he called Laylah, or night. And the evening and the morning were the first Yom, or day. And YAHUAH debar, let there be a firmament, or a sky, in the midst of the water, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So he's separating the water from the water. That is why the sky above us appears blue. That is why it rains. That's why water, you can't, these so-called scientists say all this stuff about where this water comes from. It's not true. It's because it is water. This is the very first book of the scripture here, guys. First book, first chapter, tells you. And YAHUAH made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. There you have it. And YAHUAH called the firmament Shamayim, or this English-speaking evil system calls it heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second Yom, or day. And YAHUAH debar, let the waters under the Shamayim be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. So he's separating out the water into one place to create the oceans or the seas, and then obviously lots of dry land where we can live. And YAHUAH called the dry land Arath, and the gathering together of the waters called Yam, or seas. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And YAHUAH debar, let the Arath bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the Arath. And it was so. And the Arath brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself, and after his kind. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third Yom, or day. So we're on to the third day now. And YAHUAH debar, let there be lights in the firmament of the Shamayim to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So he's establishing lights, the moon and the sun. And see, this is why I tell people you cannot believe the scriptures and NASA. You can't, because the scriptures say that the moon was created for a light. NASA will tell you that the moon does not give off light, but it reflects it. So which do you believe? Verse 15, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the Shamayim, to give light upon the Arath. And it was so. And YAHUAH made two great lights, the greater light to rule the Yom, or the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And he made the stars also. And YAHUAH set them in the firmament of the Shamayim to give light upon the Arath. So there you have it. The stars, they are for light. And to rule over the Yom, or the day, and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth Yom. And YAHUAH debar, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the Arath in the open firmament of the Shamayim. So now he's creating all the animals. And YAHUAH created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And YAHUAH saw that it was good. And YAHUAH baraked them, saying, Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the Yam, or the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the Arath. So he's commanding the animals to multiply. In the evening and the morning were the 5th Yom, or day, and Elua Debar. Let the Arath bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beast of the Arath after his kind. And it was so. And Elua made the beasts of the Arath after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Elua saw that it was good. So again, he's creating more animals, and as Dasta said, everything belongs to him. And Elua Debar, let us make man in our image. And he said our image because Yahusha was there with him at this time. And let them have dominion over the fish of the yam, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the arath, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the arath. So Elua created man in his own image. In the image of Elua created he him, male and female, Elua created. And Elua baraked them, and Elua debar unto them, be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the arath, and subdue it. Subdue it, have dominion over the fish of the yam, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the arath. So he's giving man the dominion over the animals. Then Elua debar, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole arath, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to every beast of the arath, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the arath, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food. And it was so. And Elua saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th Yom. So we are to the 6th day now. Thus the Shamayim and the Arath, and everything in the Arath were finished. And on the 7th Yom, or day, Elua ended his work which he had done. And Elua rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had done. Then Elua baraked the 7th day, and Qadash it, because in it Elua rested from all his work which Elua had created and made. This is the history of the Shamayim and the Arath when they were created in the day that Yahuwah Elua made the Arath and the Shamayim. So, if you're really that curious about the creation of the earth, how it happened, there is the majority of the story right there in the very first book. All right, and Yubalim, this takes it a little deeper. And the Malak of the presence spoke to Musha according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days Yahuwah Elua finished all his work, and all that he created, and kept Shabbat on the 7th day, and sanctified it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. For on the 1st day Yahuwah created the Shamayim, which are above, and the Arath, and the waters, and all the Ruachoth, which served before him, the Malakim of the presence, and the Malakim of sanctification, and the Malakim of the Ruach of fire, and the Malakim of the Ruach of the winds, and the Malakim of the Ruach of the clouds, and of the darkness, and of the snow, and of the hail, and of hoarfrost, and the Malakim of the voices, and of the thunder, and of the lightning, and the Malakim of the Ruachoth of cold, and of heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and of all of the Ruachoth of his creatures, which are in the Shamayim and on the Arath. For Yahuwah created the abysses, and the darkness, evening and night, and the light, dawn and day, which he has prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon we saw his works, and Yada Yahuwah, and lauded before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the 1st day. And on the 2nd day, Yahuwah created the expanse in the midst of the water. And the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below the expanse that was in the midst over the face of the whole Arath. And this was the only work Elua created on the 2nd day. And on the 3rd day, Yahuwah commanded the waters to pass off from the face of the whole Arath into one place, and the dry land appeared. You know, this world likes to say there was some giant big bang that happened and all this stuff was just created from nothing. No, Yahuwah created it all. He commanded it what to do. And it listened. And on the third day, Yahuwah commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole Arath into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the water did so, as Yahuwah commanded them, and they retired from off the face of the Arath into one place outside of this expanse, and the dry land appeared. And on that day, Yahuwah created for them all the Yamim, seas, according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and all the gatherings of the waters in the mountains, and on all the Arath, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the Arath, and the seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, and trees of the wood, and the garden of Adon, in Adon, and all. These 4 great works Yahuwah created on the third day. And on the fourth day, Yahuwah created the sun and the moon and the stars, and set them in the expanse of the Shamayim, in the expanse of the heaven, to give light, there it is, right there, to give light upon all the Arath, and to rule over the day and the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. Does it say he created the moon as a reflection of light? No. The sun and the moon and the stars, set them in the expanse of the Shamayim, the heaven, to give light upon all the Arath, and to rule over the day and the night, and to divide the light from darkness. The moon is a light, it is not a reflection. And Yahuwah appointed the sun to be a great sign on the Arath for days, and for Shabbats, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Shabbats of years, and Jubilim, and for all seasons of the years. Todah Rabbi Yahuwah. And it divides the light from the darkness, and for prosperity, that all things may prosper, which shoot and grow on the Arath. These 3 kinds Yahuwah made on the 4th day. And on the 5th day, Yahuwah created the great sea monsters in the depths of the waters. For these were the first things of flesh that were created by his hands. The fish and everything that moves in the waters, and everything that flies, the birds and all their kinds. Those were the first creatures he created. Todah Rabbi Yahuwah, for all the fish of the sea, all the creatures in the sea. And the sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the Arath, everything that shoots out of the Arath, and all fruit-bearing trees, and all flesh. These 3 kinds he created on the 5th day. And on the 6th day, Yahuwah created all the animals of the Arath, and all cattle, and everything that moves on the Arath. Oh. Sorry, getting a little ahead of myself here. Everything that moves on the Arath. And after all this, Yahuwah created man, a man and a woman he created, and gave the man dominion over all that is upon the Arath and in the seas, and over everything, and over beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the Arath, and over the whole Arath. And over all this Yahuwah gave man dominion. And these 4 kinds Yahuwah created on the 6th day. And there were altogether 22 kinds. So he gave dominion to the man over these creatures. And he finished all his work on the 6th day. All that is in the Shamayim, and on the Arath, and in the seas, and the abysses, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. And Yahuwah gave us a great sign, the Shabbat, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the 7th day from all work. And the Malachim of the presence, and all the Malachim of sanctification, these 2 great classes, he has bidden us to guard the Shabbat with him in Shamayim and on Arath. And Yahuwah said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall guard the Shabbat, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will barak them, as I have sanctified the Shabbat, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so I will barak them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Yahuwah. And I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son. and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Shabbat, that they may guard the Shabbat thereon from all work. And thus he created thereon a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink, and to barak YAHUAH, who has created all things, as YAHUAH has baraked and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, that they should guard the Shabbat together with us. So Tudah Rabba YAHUAH for the sixth day. And now Tahalim, Psalms 33. By the Debar of YAHUAH, the Shamayim were made. So by the words of YAHUAH, the Shamayim were made, the heavens were made, and all the hosts of them by their breath of his mouth. He created it all with his words. He spoke it into existence. There was no big bang. He gathers the water of the sea together as a heap. He lays upon the deep in the storehouses, or he lays up the deep in the storehouses. Let all the Arath fear YAHUAH. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of YAHUAH. For YAHUAH Debar, and it was done. YAHUAH commanded, and it stood fast. For YAHUAH brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. YAHUAH makes the plans of the peoples of no effect. So he commanded it, and it stood fast. He spoke, and it was done. Ma'ashayim, Proverbs, chapter 8. When YAHUAH prepared the Shamayim, this is Yahusha speaking, I was there. When YAHUAH drew a circle on the face of the deep, when YAHUAH established the clouds above, when YAHUAH strengthened the fountains of the deep, when YAHUAH assigned to the sea its limits, so that the waters would not transgress his command, when YAHUAH marked out the foundations of the Arath, then I was beside YAHUAH as a master craftsman. You see, he was a servant to YAHUAH since the beginning. And I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before YAHUAH, rejoicing in YAHUAH's inhabited world, and my delight was with the sons of men. Now therefore, listen to me, my children, for baraked are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Baraked is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life, and obtains favor from YAHUAH, but he who sins against me wrongs his own soul. All those who hate me love death. So if you hate Yahusha, you love death. He was there from the beginning, serving YAHUAH. Sirach 16. Listen to me, my son, and acquire knowledge, and pay close attention to my words. I will impart instruction by weight, and declare knowledge accurately. The works of YAHUAH have existed from the beginning by his creation, and when YAHUAH made them, he determined their divisions. For YAHUAH arranged his works in an eternal order, and their dominion for all generations. They neither hunger nor grow weary, and they do not cease from their labors. They do not crowd one another aside, and they will never disobey the Debar, the words, the commands of YAHUAH. After this, YAHUAH looked upon the Arath and filled it with his good things. With all kinds of living beings, he covered its surface, and to it they return. Tudah Rabba YAHUAH. The second book of Azra, chapter 6. And YAHUAH Debar to me at the beginning of the circle of the Arath, before the portals of the world were in place, and before the assembled winds blew, and before the rumblings of thunder sounded, and before the flashings of lightning shone, and before the foundations of paradise were laid, and before the beautiful flowers were seen, and before the powers of movement were established, and before the innumerable hosts of Malachim were gathered together, and before the heights of the air were lifted up, and before the measures of the firmaments were named, and before the footstool of Zaun was established, and before the present years were reckoned, and before the imaginations of those who now sin were estranged, and before those who stored up treasures of faith were sealed. Then I planned these things, and they were made through me and not through another, just as the end shall come through me and not through another, says Yahuwah. He created it all. He can end it all. Tuda Rabba Yahuwah. Yehukanan, John, chapter 1. In the beginning, the Dabar already existed. The Dabar was with Yahuwah, and the Dabar was Aluah. The Dabar existed in the beginning with Yahuwah, for Yahuwah created everything through the Dabar, and nothing was created except through the Dabar, and that the Dabar is Yahusha. He was there with Yahuwah, being a servant, helping create. Tuda Rabba Yahuwah, Colossians chapter 1. Hamashiach is the visible image of the invisible Aluah, for Hamashiach existed before anything was created, and Hamashiach is supreme over all creation. For through Hamashiach, Yahuwah created everything in the Shamayim, the heaven realms, and on Arath. For Yahuwah made the things we can see and the things we cannot see, such as thrones, kingdoms, rulers, and authorities in the unseen world. Everything was created through Hamashiach and for him. And that, my brothers and sisters, is a summary of the creation of the earth. It was not a big bang. It was not whatever this world wants to tell you. It was created by Yahuwah with the help of Yahusha, who was there since the beginning. Everything follows the command of Yahuwah, and as Brother Dasta said before, everything belongs to Yahuwah and Tuda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth.
That was a very, very, very great message, Brother Robert. Yahuwah created everything. Yahuwah spoke everything to existence. Yahuwah created you and me. Yahuwah created the very days, and Yahuwah created the Shabbat, very Shabbat that we're worshiping right now. Yahuwah created everything. That was a very, very, very important message, Brother Robert. Tuda, Rabba, Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Bahasham, Yahusha HaMashiach.
Toda Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. The message is awesome, you see? Awesome, awesome. You know, when the time has come for we to get this insight into Yahuwah's creation, I'm so happy every time I read it, you know. Even they say the scripture said the Daba of Yahuwah is new every morning. The more you listen to it, the more you get more understanding and more clarity continuously. And that's how Yahuwah operates. You see, there's not there's not too much of it. It is for your own consumption to grow your mind and you will use it to appreciate Abba Yahuwah more. You see, the most very important part I take from this message is the part that Yahuwah told it shows the children of Yashara to guide the Shabbat. It shows them, you see. So, and you see, this is very important. It shows them to guide the Shabbat, to tell you the importance of the Shabbat in the life of every chosen one. The importance of this Shabbat, this very Shabbat now that we are in, this is the 7th day of the creation, the 7th day. And what happened on the 7th day? Yahuwah did not create anything. He just barak the day. That's what he did. And he rested. Immediately he created the day, the 7th day, he baraked it, and he set it apart from the 6th day. If you look at it, the 6th day, he has finished all his work that he created. Then he not created the Shabbat. This is the account of creation. That's what Brother Robert just ministered. You see, this is joy. When you want to worship Yahuwah, you worship him with his creation. Abba, your creation is beautiful. And when you are worshiping Yahuwah in this direction, you will feel joy in your soul, in your own soul. You see? So I'm so happy that this is the message that came out today, and the guiding of the Shabbat. See, the topic of my message today is in line with what Brother Desta ministered. It all belongs to Yahuwah. All creation belongs to Yahuwah. Then Brother Robert came in with this very special topic of the account of the creation of the world, of this Arat. How Yahuwah created it day by day, and he created everything on the sixth day, and he rested. And now Yahuwah said they should create man in his own image and to be like Yahuwah. Don't you know that we are Yahuwah's image? We are creators, like, because Yahuwah created us to become his own image and in his likeness, to be like him. That is his likeness, to be like Yahuwah. And who is Yahuwah? Yahuwah is the creator. And Yahuwah created us to become creators like him, to use what he has created to create things out of it. And that is what you see in the whole Ara today. You see? That's what you see. The system that we're using to minister right now is people that created it. It's people like us. The internet. It was wire that they used before. Wire. They use wire to draw from one house to another before you can call. But now, it's just the air. This air that blows. That's what we use in communicating. That's what we use in communicating. You see? Look at television before now. In those days, when the big size screen television they use that big size. There was no remote. You go to the television and screw to your channel. But now you can hold your remote from your comfort and search for whatever channel you want to watch. You see, these are creators like Yahuwah also. Yahuwah he created man to create things like him. And we that are the Qadash ones, we must put this to work in our life continuously. We must create things also, just like Abba Yahuwah has commanded us, you see, to become like him. If not that Adam sinned against Abba Yahuwah, we will not be searching for things to do. We will just, the knowledge has been there. But right now, you have to use the wisdom of Yahuwah, because now it's time for wisdom to guide you, to get everything that you want to do right. You see? And we give all the Todah to Abba Yahuwah for guiding us into all his knowledge and his wisdom for today, from this very day that we're in. Oh, Todah Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth and Ba'asham Yahushua Mashiach. Oh, Abba Yahuwah, I give you all the Todah, I worship you, I magnify your name. This is the day that you have made, this day, the seventh day of the week. You made it so special, and you set it apart from the other 6 days that you use in creating the whole Arat, the Shamayin and the Arat. Abba Yahuwah, we give you all the Todah for this special day, the Shabbat. And Shabbat means rest. Oh, Abba, we rest upon you. We lean upon you. Every of our desire, we put them on you, Abba, because you know best. You know what is best for us. And as we step into this next phase of ministration, Abba Yahuwah, let everything that comes out be of baraka, that would lead us into your perfect will for our life. Ba'asham Yahushua Mashiach. So shall it be. It is done. Todah Rabbi Yahuwah. Oh, Todah Rabbi Yahuwah. You see, like as I said before, the message just key in. The topic of my message today is your obedience. The Shabbat is the Shabbat is your obedience to Yahuwah. Let me come again. The topic of the message is the Shabbat. The Shabbat day is the sign of your obedience to Yahuwah. And that is why I was so happy that Brother Robert ministered in this direction when he talks about how Yahuwah shows the children of Yashara to guide the Shabbat. You see, Yahuwah shows them specially to become guidance of the Shabbat day, to guide the Shabbat for a reason. Because the Shabbat is the sign of your obedience to Abba Yahuwah. It's the sign. There's no other way you can. You might say, or you might say you don't do this, you don't do this, you don't do this. But the Shabbat day, this very day that Abba Yahuwah created for you, it is the day that Yahuwah set you apart to himself. He created you on the 6th day, and he now created the 7th day, and he used this day as a sign of set apartness, of Qadash. You see? So we'll look on the scriptures right now and see the details of the importance of the Shabbat in our lives. I'm going to start from the last scripture of Bereshit chapter 1. It said, and Allah saw everything that he had made. He saw everything that he had made. After he has finished everything, he has created all. And Allah saw everything that he had made. And behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th yom, which is the 6th day. Everything that Yahuwah made was very good on the 6th day. He finished everything. All. There was no need for him to create another day, because he has finished his creation already. You see? He has finished all that he created, all of it. He has ended his creation from the starting to the finish. Everything on the Shamaim and the Arat, Yahuwah said, and Yahuwah saw all that he has made, and behold, they were very good. Very good. Not just good. Very excellent. Then why did Yahuwah create another day? We're going to see that as we study on. To the Rabbi Yahuwah. I'll read again. And Allah saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. It was very good. And the evening and the morning, we had the 6th yom, which is the 6th day. And I went to chapter 2, straight up, chapter 2, towards the Shamaim and the Arat, which is Bereshit chapter 2, verse. Bereshit is the one they translate to Genesis, chapter 2, verse 1 to 3. It says, towards the Shamaim and the Arat, and everything in the Arat were finished. And on the 7th yom, now Yahuwah created a separate day. On the 7th yom, which is the day of the 7th day, Allah, the Almighty One, ended his work, which he had done. He just created the day, because he did not work on that day. He ended his work, which he has done. And Allah rested on the 7th yom from all his work, which he has done for the 6 days. He rested from them all. He said he rested from all his work, which he has done. Then on the verse 3, I said, then Allah barak the 7th yom, which is the 7th day. Yahuwah now barak the 7th day. The only thing that Yahuwah did on the 7th day was barakah, which is this day, this today now, this day, this Shabbat day. The only thing that Yahuwah did on the Shabbat day was to barak the Shabbat day. It was barakah. That is the only thing that Abba Yahuwah did on the 7th day. You see? That is why this Shabbat day is so important in our life. Then Allah baraked the 7th yom and kadashed it. He baraked it and he set it apart. Two things that Yahuwah did on the Shabbat day. He baraked the day. Then he kadashed it, which is he set it apart, because in it, Allah rested from all his work, which Allah had created and made. You see? This is the importance of the Shabbat. This is the importance of the Shabbat. The Shabbat is not a day to play with. It's a day of your loyalty to Abba Yahuwah. Then Yahuwah now brought it to the 4th commandment. And now brought it to the 4th commandment. You see? And now brought it to the 4th commandment. after he has created it, after man has sinned, Adam has sinned, and YAHUAH is about to redeem his people back again. He commanded them, he commanded man again. He said, remember to observe the Shabbat Yom. He's now reminding you, everyone, that you should observe this day that he created. He said, remember to observe the Shabbat Yom by keeping it Qadash. Remember what YAHUAH did. YAHUAH Qadash the Shabbat. He set it apart. He Qadashed it. The verse 3, the Barashi chapter 2, verse 3, he said, then YAHUAH barak the Shabbat, the seventh Yom, which is the Shabbat day, and Qadashed it, and he set it apart, which is he set it apart. You see, then YAHUAH is not commanding us now to Qadash the Shabbat constantly. Set it apart also in your life. Remember to observe the Shabbat Yom by keeping it Qadash, which is by keeping it set apart. Say this is the way it will flow into you. Remember to observe the Shabbat Yom, the Shabbat day, by keeping it set apart from the other 6 days. That is what is here right now. Remember to observe the Shabbat Yom by keeping it Qadash, keep it set apart from the other 6 days. He said you have 6 Yom, which is 6 days each week for your ordinary work. This is what YAHUAH is telling you now in his commandments. The commandment is from Shamut chapter 20, which Shamut is the one that translates to Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8 to 9, verse 8 to 11. That is the commandment. Verse 8 to 11, that's the main commandment. He said, remember the Shabbat day by keeping it set apart, by keeping it Qadash. He said, you have 6 days, 6 Yom each week for your ordinary work. He said, but the seventh day, remember this word, the 7th day is a Shabbat day of rest dedicated to YAHUAH, your Aloha. He said, on this day, he said, on that day, no one in your household may do any work. This includes you, your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, your livestock, and any foreigner living among you. Verse 11. Then he now refer you back to the creation again. YAHUAH, and the commandment, YAHUAH, the reason why I say you should remember it is the day that is set apart. He's referring you back to the creation. He said, for in 6 days, YAHUAH made the Shamayim, the Arat, the Yam, the sea. Which the Yam is what they translate to sea. Arat is what they translate to earth. Shamayim is what the system of this world translate to heaven. So say on the 6th day, YAHUAH made the Shamayim, the Arat, the Yam, which they translate to sea, and everything in them. In 6 days, he made everything. He made the Shamayim, the Arat, and everything in them in 6 days. But on the 7th day, YAHUAH rested. That is why YAHUAH barak. The reason why YAHUAH barak that day is the day that YAHUAH rested from all his work that he created. And YAHUAH, he said that is why YAHUAH barak the Shabbat Yom and set it apart as Qadash. YAHUAH set the day apart as Qadash. He Qadash the day. YAHUAH set it apart as Qadash. And YAHUAH wants us to constantly Qadash this day. And that is the reason why when Brother Robert read from that scripture, I was very happy. He said the YAHUAH set the Shabbat apart, and he now gave it to the children of Yasharal. You know, YAHUAH shows the children of Yasharal to himself. He set them apart to himself also. So YAHUAH now gave the children of Yasharal to guide the Shabbat, to guide it, and to become a day that you will use in giving YAHUAH your obedience in totality. Is a sign of your obedience to YAHUAH, the Shabbat day. That's the reason why YAHUAH created it. And a lot of people say, but I do the Shabbat, I do this. We're going to read to that. We're going to see how you can Qadash the Shabbat, you can set it apart fully, and do the things that is in the mind of YAHUAH. The Shabbat is not a day of wickedness. No. That's why Yahusha corrected a lot of things about the Shabbat, because the Yasharals, we are now using it to become like a wicked day. a day that they do wicked things. They don't attend to people. No, you attend to people. The only thing that Yahuwah say you should not do is your personal work, your own work. That is what Yahuwah said you should not do. You see? But you have to attend to people that have need. If you have that opportunity, attend to them. Just like Yahusha healed a lot of people on the Shabbat day. He healed a lot. He set them free, because that's the day that Abba Yahuwah Barak told the Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth and Ba Hashem Yahusha Mashiach. Shamun chapter 31, verse 12 to 13. So after Yahuwah has given them as a command, he now gave them this word. So Yahuwah Daba to Moshe, you are to tell the Yasharalim that surely you are to certainly observe my Shabbat, because it is a sign between me and you from generation to generation. And we're going to see this as we read ahead. You'll see different generations. Yahuwah brought this to remind them. He said, this is a sign between me and you from generation to generation. It is a sign. This Shabbat that you are seeing here is a sign from generation to generation. This is a sign to remind you that I created you and I rested on the seventh day. This is a sign that you must walk in the obedience to the Daba of Yahuwah. This is a sign that you must be in the direction that Yahuwah has programmed you to be. Don't do your own things. It is our Alua. Yahuwah is our Alua. He gave us everything that we need in this Arat. And he gave us this Shabbat so that we will walk in line with his direction, with his programming of the Arat. And this Shabbat is very important to man, to your health. The Shabbat is important to your health, is important to your businesses, everything you do. Because you saw what Yahuwah told you in the fourth commandment, when he said, you have 6 days each week to do your ordinary work. You have 6 days each week to do your ordinary work. Say, but the Shabbat is the Shabbat of Yahuwah, your Alua. You see? You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. But the Shabbat is the Shabbat of Yahuwah, your Alua. So it's very important you understand this, which is the verse 11, the fourth commandment. The verse 11, it says, Yahuwah made the Shamaim and the Arat and the Yam and everything in them, but on the 7th day, Yahuwah rested. That is why Yahuwah barak the Shabbat Yom, which is the day, and set it apart. You see? And the verse 9 says, you have 6 days. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. Verse 10 now says, but the Shabbat day is a Shabbat day of rest dedicated to Yahuwah, your Alua. You see? So you must focus on what Yahuwah tell you to do. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. When Yahuwah give you his baraka on the Shabbat day, you will not use it to do your personal work on your 6 days. And you will not come back again to receive more baraka for the other new week that you're about to enter. You see? So it's just very important to put this to work in your life constantly. Every day of your life. You know, this is a direction that Abba Yahuwah said I should minister in this Shabbat day. To talk about the Shabbat. The importance of this day in our life. As a sign of our obedience to Abba Yahuwah. Very, very important. It's a sign of our obedience to Abba Yahuwah. So you see, like what Yahuwah not told him. He said, then Yahuwah Daba is Yahuwah's direct words to Musha. He said, you are to tell the Yasharalim that surely you are to certainly observe my Shabbat, because it is a sign. It is a sign between me, between him, Yahuwah, and you, with us, the Qadash ones. Say it is a sign. It is a sign between me and you from generation to generation, so that you may know that I am Yahuwah who Qadash you. So that you may know that Yahuwah is the one that Qadash you. It's for you to be obedient and focus on, doing the right things on the Shabbat day by setting the Shabbat day apart. Set it apart for your life. Set it apart constantly in every week. so that you will know that Yahuwah is the one that Qadash you. Yahuwah is the one that set you apart. So when you set the Shabbat apart, that means you know that it's Abba Yahuwah that set you apart. You see the importance of the Shabbat now in your life? Very, very important. Because it's the Shabbat that makes you know that it's Yahuwah that set you apart. Then in a very far distance generation again, Yahuwah came back again. I am Yahuwah your Aluah, which is Ezekiel, which is translated to Ezekiel, chapter 20, verse 19 to 20. He said, he now came back after Shamut, which is the translated to Exodus. You is over 1,000, 2,000 years. And I came back again. And I came back again, and then I remind them, I am Yahuwah your Aluah. Follow my degrees. This one is strict warning. Follow my decrees and pay attention to my regulation. And what is the regulation? Keeping, he said, and keep my Qadash, the Yahuwah is not saying, and keep my Shabbat days Qadash. Keep my Shabbat days set apart. Follow my degrees, pay attention to my regulations, and keep my Shabbat days Qadash. This is Yahuwah's instruction now to you. It's set apart ones. He said, I am Yahuwah. Let me read it back again. I am Yahuwah your Aluah. Follow my degrees, pay attention to my regulations, and keep my Shabbat days Qadash. For they are a sign. They are a sign to remind you that I am Yahuwah your Aluah. That is to remind you that Yahuwah is your Almighty One. This is a sign to remind you that Yahuwah is your Almighty One. Because Aluah means Almighty One. You see? It is a sign to remind you that Abba Yahuwah is your Aluah. There's no other sign. It's the Shabbat that is the sign. Yahuwah has put the Shabbat to become the sign, to remind you that Yahuwah himself is your Aluah. It's very important that you take this seriously, this Shabbat day that Yahuwah set apart. You must Qadash the day, set it apart. A special day of the week. It's a special day of the week. Things that I'm doing presently, immediately I finish them, I will be celebrating on the Shabbat day. It's a day for celebration, celebrating Yahuwah's creation. Yes, myself and my family, every Shabbat. It's the biggest festival day of the old days of the week. When you finish your days, your activities days, your work days, in your 6 days, then you will not come to Abba Yahuwah on the Shabbat day. How will you come to Abba Yahuwah? We're going to see that as we read on. Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. He said, I am Yahuwah your Aluah. Follow my degrees, pay attention to my regulations, and keep my Shabbat days Qadash, for they are a sign to remind you that I am Yahuwah your Aluah. They are a sign to remind you that Yahuwah is your Aluah. That is a sign to remind you that Yahuwah is your Almighty One. Do not forget that the Shabbat is a sign to remind you. To remind you. That is why Yahuwah said, remember that day. It is a sign to remind you that Yahuwah is your Aluah. In the 4th commandment, say, remember the Shabbat day and keep it Qadash. For they are a sign to remind you that Yahuwah is your Aluah. Habarim, which they translate to Hebrews chapter 4, verse 6. He says, so that Shabbat rest of Yahuwah is there for people to enter. This Shabbat that Yahuwah is talking about from the creation, this is Habarim, almost close to the Shazayon revelation. This is almost revelation now. The Shabbat came again. So it says, so the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah is still there for people to enter. But those who first heard this good news, the Shabbat is a good news. It's not a day of burden. It's not a day of doing unnecessary things. No, the Shabbat is a good news. I recommend everyone to go and read Shamut. Shamut is the one they translate to Exodus. Shamut chapter 20. No, Shamut chapter 16, verse 1 to the end. Everyone should go and read that after the close of the live stream. Shamut chapter 16. Go and read it for yourself. You see, and understand how Yahuwah's heart is on the Shabbat. That was the day that Yahuwah brought the Shabbat to the children of Yasharah when he took them from Mizraim. You see? So it's important that you understand. He says, so the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah is there for people to enter. But those first people that heard it the first time, they disobeyed. But those who first heard this good news failed to enter because they disobeyed Yahuwah. Because of disobedience. Like what I told you, the Shabbat is a sign of your obedience to Abba Yahuwah. It's a major sign of your obedience to Abba Yahuwah. Verse 7. So Yahuwah set another day to enter for entering his Shabbat rest. And that day is today. Today now, as you are hearing, Yahuwah has set another day, and the day that he set is today. Wherever day that you heard this message is the day that Yahuwah has set it together again. He has said it again. This is the renewed covenant, the renewed covenant, which they call new covenant. This is the renewed covenant after Yahushua has come and finished his work and paid our sins, and he has gone back to Shamayim. This is when this word came back now. Verse 7, so Yahuwah set another time for entering his Shabbat rest, and that day is today. Yahuwah announced this through King Dawood much later in the words already quoted. Today, when you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. As you are hearing the voice of the scripture speaking to you right now, do not harden your hearts by doing the right things, by setting the Shabbat day, Qadash, setting it apart from the other days. They are not the same. They are not the same. Yahuwah specially barak this day, and Yahuwah set it apart for us. You see? So today that you are hearing this Daba, it is a special day for you to take the Daba of Yahuwah seriously. That the Shabbat is a sign between you and Abba Yahuwah. It's a sign, it's a special sign between you and Abba Yahuwah. So take it seriously from this very day. It's important for you. It's very, very important. You can be doing everything, but when you are against this Yahuwah's truth, that means you don't obey Yahuwah. And that's the truth. Yes. And I'm so happy for our dear brothers, our dear sisters and brothers that are, focused on this very truth that Yahuwah has given to us as a sign between us and him, Abba Yahuwah. I'm so happy for every one of you because Yahuwah is so happy with you also for doing his will and his purpose. Toda Rabba Yahuwah. Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. Awesome. Verse 10. For all who have entered into the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah have rested from their own labors. Say, as you enter the Shabbat rest of Abba Yahuwah, you have rested from your own labors. Learn how to rest from your own labors also. Say, for all who have entered into the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah have rested from their own labors, just as Yahuwah did after creating the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. Everything concerning the Shabbat is always traced back to the creation. Just look at it here, just like Yahuwah did when he rested from the creation of the world in 6 days, and he rested on the 7th day. So for all who have entered the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah have rested from their own labors, just as Yahuwah did from the creation for creating the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. Verse 11. So let us do our best to enter that rest. But if we disobey, remember the Shabbat is a sign of obedience to Abba Yahuwah. He said, but if we disobey Yahuwah as the people of Yashara did, we will fall. And if you don't want to fall, your obedience to Yahuwah should be constant. If you don't want to fall in this life that you are living now, your obedience to Abba Yahuwah should be constant. Constant obedience. Constant obedience. You see? A lot of people don't understand this, the importance. Some people follow the moon. They say the moon is what is guiding them. No, the moon was created on the 6th day of the week. So if you are using the moon to do your Shabbat, some of the week will not be complete, the 7 days. Yes, calculate it yourself. Some of the week will be shortened. Yahuwah created the Shabbat day, the 7th day of the week after he created the whole earth. So the 7th day of the week is part of the creation. Just like you cannot change the sun, you cannot change the moon, you cannot change the star, you cannot change the sun from rising and setting. That is why nobody can change the 7th day of the week. Yahuwah did not permit anybody, even Ashatan. He did not permit them. Do you know that the system of this world want to change weekly days? They try to put it in 9 days in some part. You can browse it yourself. They tried to put it in 9 days on part, but they could not change it because Yahuwah did not permit anyone to change it. In the book of Daniel, the book of Daniel talked to us about they would try to change times and law. They would try to change the times and law, but they could not change the Shabbat. They now move their own day of rest to another fresh day of the week, which is the first day, which they call Sunday everywhere. Then the Muslim people took their own to the 6th day of the week. So they could not change the main day. They now try to brainwash people with another fresh day, different day of the week. That's the day of rest. No, it is the Shabbat day. Yahuwah say, remember, because Ashatan will make you forget. That is why Yahuwah said you should remember. Remember this Shabbat day. Remember to observe it. Remember to set it aside from the other 6 days of the week. They are not the same. Remember, constantly remember this word. Anything Yahuwah tell you to remember, you should focus on that word. Remember it to make sure you don't forget, because it's important. This Shabbat that you are seeing here is a sign of your obedience to Abba Yahuwah. It's a sign of your obedience. So don't allow nothing, take this obedience, take this sign from you, take this walk that you are walking with Abba Yahuwah from you. It's important. You see, it's very, very important. And I give all the Todah to Yahuwah that we have this live stream, that we can come together and share the Daba of Yahuwah together. And after that, after the live stream, you can start studying your scriptures on your own, and take time to rest also. Rest on Yahuwah. That's what the scripture told us. That's what he told us. Look at it here. He said, for all who have entered into the Shabbat rest of Yahuwah have rested from their own labors, just as Yahuwah did after creating the world in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. So let us do our best to enter that rest, this rest of the Shabbat. Let us do our best. There's something about this day that Yahuwah has barak. There's something about this day that Yahuwah has set apart. So do your best to be obedient to this day. Remember to observe it constantly. Don't allow nothing. The money that people are pursuing, they will die and leave it. But when you are obedient to Yahuwah, your life will live. You will live an eternal life because we are obedient. Todah Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. Let us do our best. Do your best to enter that rest. But if we disobey Yahuwah as the people of Yashara did, we will fall. I pray that nobody will fall. You will obey Yahuwah constantly so that you will not fall in life. You will not fall in your day-to-day life, because your 6 days is your day. So you will not fall in your whole day. Todah Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. The reason why a lot of people have sickness everywhere is because they are disobedient. The Shabbat is a day of refreshness. You see, the Shabbat is a day that you refresh, that Yahuwah want to refresh you, so that when you go to your day of your week, you can have all of the barakah that you carry from the Shabbat to live your day, your 6 days of the week. You see? And let's see what the Shabbat, what Yahuwah talked about. He said, for the Daba of Yahuwah is living and powerful. He said, the Daba is sharper than the 2 sharpest edged sword. This Daba that Yahuwah is talking to you about is sharper than 2-edged sword. Piercing, he said, piercing until it divides the soul and the spirit, joint and marrow, as it judges the thoughts and purpose of the heart. You see, this Daba that you are saying, this word that Yahuwah is telling you to remember this day. For the Daba of Yahuwah is living and powerful. This Daba concerning the Shabbat is living and powerful. You see that is this Abari chapter 4 that talks about the Shabbat from verse 1 to the verse 16. It's strictly on the Shabbat. And the Shabbat is the Daba of Yahuwah that he gave to you. It's living and powerful. The Daba is sharper than the sharpest two-edged sword, piercing into, he said, piercing until it divides soul and spirit, joint and marrow, as it judges the thoughts and purpose of the heart. Nothing in all creation is hidden from Yahuwah. Everything is naked and exposed before the eyes of Yahuwah, and he is the one to whom we are accountable. It is Abba Yahuwah that you have to be accountable to. So you must be obedient to Yahuwah's Daba constantly, continuously. Every day of your life, you must be constantly obedient to Abba Yahuwah. Constantly. This is very important. Your obedience to Yahuwah. The Shabbat day is a sign of your obedience to Yahuwah. So that is the reason why Yahuwah says, remember this day, because it's a sign to remind you that Yahuwah is your Aloha. Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. Toda Rabba Yahuwah. This is awesome. Awesome. Verse 15. Say, for we do not have a high Kohan who is unable to emphasize with our weaknesses. Yes, we have a lot of weaknesses, but Yahusha is our high Kohan now. He knows, he has lived in this Arat, and he knows everything. He said, for we do not have a high Kohan. Kohan is what they translate to priest, just in case you don't know that. He said, we do not have a high Kohan who is unable to emphasize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are, yet he did not sin, which is Yahusha. He was tempted in every way, but he did not sin. He said, let us therefore come boldly on this very day that Yahuwah has created, this Shabbat day. He said, let us therefore come boldly on this Shabbat day to the throne of favor. The Shabbat day is a throne of favor for you. It's a day of Yahuwah's favor in your life. The day that when you are obedient to Yahuwah on the Shabbat day, when you set the Shabbat aside, apart from the other days, when you Qadash the Shabbat, he said the Shabbat it will become a favor day for you. You will carry favor. You carry favor with you when you have challenges in your days, in your 6 days of the week. Verse 16 says, let us therefore come boldly to the throne of favor, that we may obtain mercy and find favor to help us in time of need, in the time of need in our 6 days. So we will get favor from the Shabbat day, from setting the Shabbat apart by Qadashing the Shabbat. Yahuwah will barak you with enough favor, then you will have favor to help you in the time of need, on your day-to-day life, on your 6th day of the week. You will have favor. When you have challenge in every area, Yahuwah's favor that you carry from the Shabbat will rest upon you fully throughout your 6 days of the week. It's very important. It's very important. That's the reason why Yahuwah told us to remember. He told us, it's like a warning. Remember this day and set it apart and Qadash it. Because Ashatan want you to forget. That is why they created different days now. Created different days of rest. The first day of the week, what they call Sunday, which is their venerable day of the sun. The day the Roman worship their sun deity. They now switch it because they know the importance of the Shabbat in everyone's life. They don't want you to have freedom. The system of the world, they are very wicked. They want you to be constantly in bondage of your mind, of your heart. So they created a system that they can use in putting you in that bondage. The Shabbat is a freedom. It's a day of freedom. This Shabbat day that you are to, this Shabbat day, the 7th day of the week is a day of freedom. The 7th day of the week is a day of favor. The 7th day of the week is a day of baraka. The Shabbat day is a day of baraka. It's a day of favor. And it's a day of freedom also. Yes, it's a day of rest. Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. When you understand the importance of this Shabbat, my brothers and my sisters, you will live your day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and day 6 with the fullness of Yahuwah's baraka in your life. And you will live free of sickness and diseases, because this day, Yahuwah gave us a special relation concerning this day. He said, let us therefore come boldly to to the throne of favor, that we may obtain mercy and find favor to help us in time of need. So when you are obedient to Yahuwah's Daba on the Shabbat day, you will find favor to help you. You will get Yahuwah's mercy, and you will find favor to help you on your day-to-day life, on your other 6 days, in your activities, your work life, in every of your activities that you do. You see? So that is the reason why this Shabbat is very important. And a lot of people will say, okay, how am I going to, observe the Shabbat day that is so important to be observed? How can I observe it? And that is this scripture that I want to bring out, the book of Yeshayahu chapter 58, verse 13 to 14. Yeshayahu chapter 58. Yeshayahu is the one the evil system translates to Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 to 14. He said, keep the Shabbat day, Qadash. Remember, Yahuwah Qadash the Shabbat day, and it's telling you now to keep it Qadash. Keep it that way, the way Yahuwah Qadashed it and baraked it. Keep it that way. Do not pursue your own interest. That is how you walk on the Shabbat day. The Shabbat day is not for you to pursue your personal desire or your own interest. You see? Say, keep it Qadash. Do not pursue your own interest on the Shabbat day, but enjoy the Shabbat and speak of it with delight as Yahuwah's Qadash day. Say, speak of it with delight as Yahuwah's Qadash day. That means everything that you need to do on the Shabbat day must revolve on Yahuwah's, creation. The beauty of Yahuwah, the beauty of Yahuwah's creation, all of it all. That is how you speak of it with delight as Yahuwah's Qadash day. Honor the Shabbat in everything you do. Do not, he said, honor the Shabbat in everything you do on that day, and do not follow your own desire or talk idly. Just like you go to your friend's place and be talking about this and this and this. No, it is all everything about the Shabbat must be fully programmed with the scriptures, discussing the goodness of Yahweh in your life. And you can do good to people that have needs. If you have the opportunity, you can do good to them. Say, then Yahweh will be your delight. When you take this Yahweh's instruction seriously, Yahweh will be your delight. I want if you can screenshot this very part now, screenshot it and let it be constant reminder to you. This is Yeshayahu chapter 58, verse 13 to 14, so that you can know how to, observe the Shabbat in the right way. In the right way. The Shabbat is not a burden. It's not a day of burden. No. It's not a day that will put burden in your life. No, it's a day of freedom. Like as I said before now, the Shabbat is a day of freedom. He said, keep the Shabbat day, Qadash. Do not pursue your own interests on the Shabbat day, but enjoy the Shabbat and speak of it with delight as Yahuwah's Qadash day. Honor the Shabbat in everything you do on that day, and do not follow your own desire or talk idly. Then Yahuwah will be your delight. When you do what Yahuwah wants you to do on the Shabbat, Yahuwah now will become your delight. He said, now Yahuwah is not talking to you directly. He said, I will give you great honor. Yahuwah is not telling you that he will give you great honor and satisfy you with the inheritance. Yahuwah promised. Inheritance I promised to your ancestors. Yaakov. Yahuwah has spoken. He said, this is what he will give, the inheritance that because of your obedience to his Daba concerning the Shabbat, he said he will give you the inheritance that he has promised your ancestors. Yaakov, which is our father Yaakov. Yaakov is the one they translate to Jacob. You see? So, like what Brother Robert talked about, he said Yahuwah shows the children of Yashara to be the guardians of the Shabbat, of this special day. And we the Qadash ones, now we are not the Qadash ones now, in this time of life. We are not the guardians of the Shabbat day. We are not the ones to set it apart and Qadash it. The special day that Ashatan is fighting people not to know. This is the day, the 7th day of the week. It's very important. And do not follow those people that follow moon. The moon was created on the 4th day of the week, of the 7th-day week. Toda Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. Walk in line by constant obedience to Abba Yahuwah. Very important. From this day, walk in line with your constant obedience to Abba Yahuwah. And Yahuwah will barak you in everything that you do. Ba'asham Yahusha Mashiach. And Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. Oh, Toda Rabba Yahuwah. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that was a very great message, Elder Don. This is the very day Abba Yahuwah picked to set you apart from the world. The Shabbat is not a day to play with. This is a day to show your obedience and loyalty to Abba Yahuwah. Remember to observe the Shabbat day and keep it set apart from the other 6 days of the week. Yahuwah baraked the Shabbat Yom for the Shabbat day. It is very important. Take the Debar of Yahuwah seriously. If you don't want to fall, your obedience to Abba Yahuwah should be constant. Don't allow anything to distract you. Don't follow those that are following the moon. The moon was created on the 4th day of the week. Tudah, Rabba, Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Bahasham, Yahusha HaMashiach.
Yeah, that's a great message. I mean, personally, from my personal experience, I love the Shabbat. You know, I work all throughout the week and have all kinds of various chores, just like any of us do. And man, it is just such a baraka to just rest. You know, just relax from everything. And I love the Shabbat. I give Tudat to Yahuwah for the Shabbat. It's just it's so great. What a great message. Tudara Bayo Sabaoth.
Oh, Toda Rabba Yahuwah. Awesome. I want to especially invite, and if you are interested, we are starting a special meeting on our WhatsApp group tomorrow. This, let me say, 7 p.m. West African time. That's my time, Nigerian time. So you can browse it on the internet and get your time zone from it. It's a special time for prayers and worship. So 7 p.m. West African time. If you want to join us, you can reach us through the email on the platform on this channel. There's an email there or WhatsApp number. So reach out to us, and it's a special time to communicate with Abba Yahuwah. Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. It's Yahuwah that gave us the command to start it, and we are starting it tomorrow, which is the first day of the week. Toda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth. All right, it's time to pray. All right, Brother Desta, start, and Brother Robert, around up.
Abba Yahuwah, I want you to barak the listeners, barak their day, Shabbat day, very important. Barak all the listeners and anything that's distracting them, I get rid of it. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, Bahasham, Yahusha HaMashiach, any evil influence in any of your listeners' lives be removed now. Sound of my voice, in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, out. Yahuwah loves you all. I give Yahuwah so much Torah for these messages. Worship on the Shabbat day. Everything belongs, all things belong to Yahuwah and the creation of the Eretz, the creation of the earth. This is a very important Shabbat live stream. Abba Yahuwah, we love you so much and we give you so much Torah. And I just say, Torah, Rabba Yahuwah, Sabaoth, Bahasham, Yahusha Mashiach.
Tudara Bayo. Yes, Abba Yahuwah, I thank you for the Shabbat day and for the messages that have come out. I thank you for the listeners that were here. I just ask that you use this Shabbat day to give them rest and barak them for their week as they go throughout their week. Just barak the works of their hands and let them be all that you desire. We thank you for your creation and for all that you do in our lives. And we say, Tuda Rabba Yahuwah Sabaoth Bahasham Yahusha HaMashiach.
Oh, Abba Yahuwah, we love you so much, Abba. We love your creation. You created everything so beautiful. You created them for us to enjoy, Abba. But you're giving us a direction on how to walk and live in this earth. You're giving us your commandment. I pray for everyone that will come to this message and the ones that are listening right now. Abba YAHUAH, guide us to obey you in every aspect of your commands. Lead us to obey you. Let us walk in your obedience constantly. From this very point of our life, we need your obedience more than life itself. Abba YAHUAH, you are the one that gives directions and you are the one that guides. Guide us, Abba YAHUAH, to obey you in every aspect of our life. And I pray that this Shabbat should barack everyone continuously with the divine favor that you have programmed for them all. Every sickness and diseases, right now I decree and I declare in the name that is above every other name, the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, whatever sickness and diseases that is you are passing, you are facing right now that is holding you bound, I release the name of Yahushua, that at that name every knee bows at. You sickness and disease bows out in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Out now. You have no place in the children of Yahuwah. Free them from the disease and the pain that they are passing through right now. You have no hold. From this very day, you are free from the pain that you are passing through. You are free from the heart problem. You are free from the liver problem. You are free from every kind of problem that you are passing through. High blood pressure, diabetes, whatever name that they named it, you are free from them all. Ba'asham Yahushua HaMashiach. You are free. The freedom of Yahuwah's creation is at work in you. As you have come into the Shabbat rest, you are free from whatever that you came in with, and you will live the life that Yahuwah has programmed you to live from this day. Ba'asham Yahushua HaMashiach. Oh, Abba YAHUAH, we give you all the Todah. Our week that we're about to step in is a Barak week. From the starting of the week, the first day to the 6th day, before we come back again for the 7th-day Shabbat, Abba YAHUAH, guide us in every aspect of our life. Progress gravitate towards us. Safety in every area. We give all the Todah to you, Abba YAHUAH. Ba'asham Yahushua Mashiach. So it shall be, and so it will be. It is done. So once again, I will specially invite you all to the tomorrow's the first day of the week. This is the first day, the first time we're starting. So we are inviting you specially 7 p.m. West African time. You can join us when you are interested because it's special. It's from Abba YAHUAH directly to everyone. So YAHUAH barak you abundantly as you get ready to round up your Shabbat and move on to your next day of the week. And throughout the week, you are barak already. YAHUAH shalom to you and have a good Shabbat rest.